Hey everyone, here going to be reviewing the Toys R Us exclusive Dark Phoenix and Cyclops 2-pack. This set is not available yet in the United States. I got this from a seller in Australia. They have hit some of the stores in Australia in the last couple of weeks. Don't know when it's going to hit the United States. I'm thinking possibly this month, but I'm not for certain. Reason why, because the Mary Jane Spider-Man slash Peter Parker set is just now starting to hit stores in the U.S. So I don't think they're gonna have two packs hitting at the same time. And plus, Spider-Man Homecoming is coming out in the next couple of weeks. I think it's early July, first week of July, first weekend of July, whatever. So, but since it hit Australia already this soon, I'm assuming that it's gonna probably be, I don't know, probably within the next month and a half or so, probably before Comic Con, maybe after. I'm not for certain. But anyways, okay, let's get started here. It's the typical 2-pack packaging from Hasbro that they've been using now for the last, or actually it's the second release for the 2-pack. They had the Mary Jane Peter Parker one on the side. Here, Dark Phoenix. I believe the artwork is from the trade paperback that was released in the late 80s, early 90s. I had it as a kid. It is the Dark Phoenix artwork. It's the same on both sides. It's no Cyclops. And on the back, Cyclops and Jean Marvel Girl. And I noticed that it looks like the picture is the prototype. It still has like the little, I don't know if you can probably see it. It has a little ball joint or whatever it's called. So that's the prototype. So maybe this packaging, I don't know. It's the package. Who cares? Do Cyclops and Jean Grey, blah, blah, blah. You don't care about that stuff. I don't care about this stuff. It's in English, French, Spanish, whatever. And it's the cover here for issue the Uncanny X-Men 136 that came out in 1980. I have this actual original issue, so all right, let's get it opened up here. And it's the first time opening up, so bear with me. Little artwork here. I'm not gonna spend too much time on it. This is from issue, I believe, was it 137, 138? Basically, excuse me, sorry, the camera is kind of leaning. Trying to stabilize it for y'all. It features artwork from John Byrne, one of my favorite artists of all time, and definitely one of my favorite X-Men artists. Yeah, it's basically the Dark Phoenix saga. You know, if you are an X-Men fan, you probably have read this already, so I'm not gonna spend too much time. And normally I don't keep this stuff, but this is actually pretty good, so I'm actually gonna probably keep this. Okay, here are the figures. Dark Phoenix here, Cyclops here, and I'm happy we got this Cyclops. This is my favorite costume from Cyclops at all the costumes he's had. A lot of people like the Jim Lee costume, and I like it too. I mean, when I started reading X-Men comics, it was in 1991 with, X-Men Volume 2, Issue 1, the Jim Lee and Chris Claremont issue. So, and I grew up watching the 90s cartoon, so the Jim Lee costume is definitely, one of my favorites, but my favorite era of the X-Men was the Bronze Age, the all new, all different giant sized X-Men. This is Cyclops. This is, to me, Cyclops. So let me take him out the package here. It's the typical Bucky Cap mold. So I'm not gonna spend too much time on articulation. You got any Bucky Cap figure, you got them all. It's no different. One of the things I like compared to the previous version that was released by Toy Biz over a decade ago is he doesn't have the cuff gloves. The Toy Biz version, he had the cuff gloves, which that was not accurate. This is accurate to Cyclops, how he was drawn in the late 60s and 70s up into the early 80s. And now that I think about it, this is probably his longest lasting costume he's had, because he started wearing this costume in the mid 60s, and he wore it up until 85, 86 when he lost the battle to Storm over leadership of the X-Men. That's when he left with Madeline Pyro and Whoop-de-Woo. So it brought out 20 years he wore this costume. So it's one of my favorites. Like I said, typical articulation. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. The face scope is the same. Again, I'm not a professional reviewer, so I'm an amateur, so excuse it. But I like the fact that compared to the previous release of a similar costume, that the all new, all different, all new X-Men, whatever. The original 5 X-Men. In fact, I got that figure. Let me compare it. Hold on. And again, I do apologize about this. I'm not a professional reviewer, so I don't have a great camera and stuff, so that's why I might be a little bit far. I might be a little bit better for y'all. Again, I apologize about that. I might redo this video, I might not. I just want people to be able to see what they're going to be getting in the next couple of weeks or whatever. But anyways, okay. What I was saying is, look at this side. This is more comic accurate. I'm glad Hasbro's been paying attention, because in the 60s and 70s, 80s, his visor had this little side thing here. This represents his first costume, and he didn't have this. So I'm glad Hasbro paid attention. You see they had a little swashbuckler gloves or whatever and stuff, which he didn't have that in the first costume. And so I'm glad they paid attention. So again, there's no difference. You got one bucket cap figure, you got them all. I'll bring some other ones here. Just give me a moment. Here's the latest Jim Lee Cyclops. And I think they are the same exact head scope. You know, in fact, yeah, same exact head scope. I'm just going to compare all the different Hasbro Cyclopses that they released. Well, not all of them, but they did release one. It was his astonishing X-Men costume. That was on, I forgot which body that was on. It wasn't on the Bucky Cap body. So I don't have that figure. I got rid of them a long time ago. So here's all the different Bucky Cap Cyclopses that have been released in the last 3 to 4 years. So nothing major from each of them. Got his hand, and that's another thing which I don't know why Hasbro did it with this Jim Lee Cyclops, because in the costume, you know, in the cartoon, or not the cartoon, well, I guess the cartoon as well, but in the comics, when he switched to the Jim Lee costume, he had it like in these wrists. He had it so that he can tap his wrist so he can open up his visor to shoot his optic blast, whereas prior to that, he always had to press a button to open up the visor. So it's good that they came with this finger. He should not have come with this finger or this hand for this figure anyways. Okay, enough with that. So again, typical Bucky Cap articulation. There's nothing new. This is one I know everybody's waiting on. It's the Dark Phoenix. And they went, looks like they went with the Scarlet Witch body for the figure, because the Jean Grey, the Phoenix they released last year, was on the Moonstone / Lady Beetle body, and they went with this body, which I wish they would have been more consistent. Either last year's Jean Grey Phoenix, they should have released her on this body, but I guess you can kind of say, well, she's Dark Phoenix, so she became full or whatever and stuff. But her head sculpt is nice. The hair is like a translucent kind of, so it's cool. Her eyes are yellow. It represents Phoenix, you know, Dark Phoenix. And she's a really nice figure. I'm glad we got her. And she comes with this little Phoenix thing. It goes around her hand. And if you are articulated comic book art, or you probably have the burning flame effects from Bandai, so you can probably utilize that with this. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. It comes with multiple heads. One of the alternate heads is the same head as this one, except for the hair is not translucent, and her eyes, she has the pupils. And kind of, I guess you can kind of represent it's like, okay, she's turning into Dark Phoenix. So switch the heads out real quick. Excuse me. There we go. Typical swapping of the heads for Marvel Legends female figures. So she has that kind of evil look on her face, like kind of like not full Dark Phoenix, but turning into it. Kind of, I guess you can kind of reason with her a little bit or whatever. So it's nice. Then of course the standard head, and this is on the Moonstone / Miss Marvel head, which is nice. It's the same exact head sculpt, just basically red hair. So, and I have the last year's Phoenix, and as you can see, different bodies. Hold on, let me try to get them to stand. There we go. This is last year's Phoenix. She came on a slimmer body compared to this one. So this head is from the Jim Lee Jean Grey figure that they released back in 2013, I think, 2014. It's very hard to find, expensive, and it's on one of the older bodies. So head-wise, you can switch heads. This actually looks better on her. This is more of a relaxed Jean Grey, Phoenix, when she's still good or whatever and stuff like that. So I'll probably be putting this head, keeping this head on her. And if you want to switch the other side heads, you can, but it really wouldn't make sense because, represents this is Dark Phoenix, or at least in mid transformation. Well, I guess you could probably use this Phoenix head on this body, mid transformation to Dark Phoenix, and it really wouldn't make sense, but you can use it on this head as well. But this is Dark Phoenix, so this costume is regular Phoenix, when she's still good, so it wouldn't make sense to keep this head on, but keep it on the standard Dark Phoenix. And again, this is a really good figure. When they announced this figure last year at Comic-Con 2016, I was actually surprised because, didn't think we were going to get Dark Phoenix, but glad we did. Again, the body is on the, believe this is the Marvel Now Storm, Scarlet Witch, the All-Father Scarlet Witch body. So it's a little bit thicker, which I prefer this body for her, but yeah, it's a nice figure. I'm not gonna go through the articulation because, at this point, you got one Marvel Legend, you got them all. There's no difference in articulation or nothing like that. This is a good head sculpt. I definitely recommend this 2-pack. I mean, if you're an X-Men fan, definitely if you're an X-Men fan, you're gonna want this pack. The Dark Phoenix saga, one of the best stories ever in comic books. It's a good 2-pack. I mean, I don't know when they're going to be hitting retail, but probably within the next month to 2 months or so. Like I said, you got Spider-Man Homecoming coming out in a couple of weeks. I don't think Hasbro's going to dump both 2-packs at the same time. And the Homecoming, or the Mary Jane and Spider-Man Peter Parker, is just now hitting stores. So I don't think they're going to have them like that, so soon. But who knows, But definitely recommend it. The retail price will probably be $40 because that's how much the 2-pack for Mary Jane and Peter Parker was. So I paid more, obviously, because I got this early, got it from Australia. Paid a little bit extra for it. I saw a seller was selling it, and I wanted it. So because my stores suck in my area, that's why I usually get stuff sooner than they're released, because my stores suck. And so So that's what I had to do. But definitely, if you are an X-Men fan, well, if you're an X-Men fan, you're probably already get this set anyways because it's X-Men. You know, you get anything X-Men related, but just in general, this Dark Phoenix the head sculpt is beautiful. I like it. Like this evil look on her. She's going full Dark Phoenix mode on it. I like the translucent, head sculpt, or whatever and stuff. It's a good figure. I like the red. It's like different tones of red. Definitely, definitely get this figure. If you have the old Toy Biz one, which in my opinion, the old Toy Biz Phoenix and Dark Phoenix is still good, but you only need one Dark Phoenix, and this is that figure. And, you know, definitely should, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be sitting for a while, because I know a lot of the exclusives from Toys R Us, like the Shield 3-pack from a couple years ago, and the 3-pack from last year with Sam Wilson is sitting collecting dust. But I don't think this pack will collect dust, and I don't think the Mary Jane one's gonna collect dust. Who knows? I could be wrong, but definitely recommend these two. You know, this is Scott Summers and Jean Grey. The Cyclops is a good figure. It's Jean Grey or Dark Phoenix is a good figure. All right. Well, this review is basically over with. So, let me know what you think. Again, I don't know when it's gonna hit retail, but I'm assuming within the next couple of months. It's right now. Today is June the 5th, so should be coming out within the next couple of weeks, a month or so. Who knows? But definitely recommend this 2-pack. It should retail about $40 since that's what the Mary Jane 2-pack is retailing as a 2-pack. I don't see why they would charge more for it, but definitely recommend it. Thanks for viewing. Peace.